Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Ellie Burns. I am the Director of Nonprofit Relations with the Community Foundation and really excited to share a little bit about 4 Impact Leaders with you today. So we launched this 9-month cohort in 2023. We're currently past halfway with our current cohort. They will graduate in September, and I've got a few of the members of the current cohort on the meeting today, so we'll hopefully have some time for them to answer some questions towards the end. And thank you to them for being here today. Just to give you kind of a high-level overview of what 4 Impact Leaders is, we designed this program in response to recognizing that the community needed a leadership program specifically designed for nonprofit professionals. I mean, we know that it's common for nonprofit professionals to start maybe as a direct service provider and move up in leadership responsibility and roles, but not all organizations have the capacity to step back and provide those personal and professional leadership opportunities, as well as the importance of networking. That's something that we really have elevated in this program is the opportunity to get to know each other as cohort participants, but also all of the speakers and the leading leaders and the different people that we bring in to present to the cohort. It's really an opportunity to network with them as well. So our hope is that the 9-month cohort opportunity not only fills the gaps that organizations can't fill in terms of that professional development, but also provides that peer support for long after those 9 months. When we decided to launch this cohort, we knew that we couldn't do this in a silo and just internally through the Community Foundation. So we developed an advisory committee. And I just want to say a huge thank you to the amazing folks that you see here on the screen. They've been very instrumental in helping us decide what this program should look like, what our curriculum should include, and we just really appreciate the dedication and the time that they've committed to developing this program. This is our current 2023 class for Impact Leaders. We have 13 nonprofit professionals from a variety of Greater Des Moines nonprofit organizations. So we have AJ Salinas, Allison Hayner, Bailey Moore, Haley Rousey, Jane Jeffries, Jen Cross, Mickey Davis, Nikki Thompson, Perry Montefar, Sarah Lohmeyer, Travis Gorsh, Jessica Nelson, and Zach Couture. And they have been an amazing inaugural cohort. They've been instrumental in making this a great year, but also helping us understand how we can make changes and adapt so that 2024 can be an even better cohort. Perry and Travis are on the call with us today, and so thank you guys for being here. And we'll have some time, and Jessica might be joining us as well. I can't see her right now, but she could be here. We'll have some time at the end because I just thought if you have questions about the actual experience, who better to answer them than participants that have walked through this journey this year with us. So again, thanks for being here to you two, and we'll have time to hopefully address some questions at the end. So let's just dive in. We're going to talk about the who, the what, the why, the when, the how, and then we'll have time for questions at the end. That said, if you've got questions, this is not a formal presentation by any means, so feel free to unmute and ask throughout if you'd like to address anything in the moment. We're happy to put a pause and answer your questions. That's really what this is about. And I'll also say that this session is being recorded. So if you've got a colleague in the community or in the nonprofit sector that you think this might be a good opportunity for, this will be up on our website following today's session. So please feel free to share it with them. All right, so who is this program designed for? Ideally, we would like to have 12 to 16 4 Impact Leaders for the 2024 cohort, and we will have 2 alternatives that will be identified. So who should consider applying? We're looking for current dedicated nonprofit employees within the Greater Des Moines area. We would like you to have 3 or more years of professional experience in nonprofits, hold a current or future area of influence in your organization, somebody who is committed to their own professional leadership journey. Be great if you have a growth mindset, an open mindset, and are willing to grow and learn. Have bandwidth for and interest in expanding your skill set around purpose-driven leadership. Value the importance of developing a strong network of colleagues. I'll say that again and again. I think that's maybe one of our biggest takeaways is just this opportunity to really develop this partnerships and friendships and peer networks that you can go to when you're working in nonprofit. And then finally, and very importantly, has the support of your immediate supervisor, your executive director, your CEO, or if you're in that role, your board chair. That's pretty critical because attendance at each of the 9 months is mandatory and you will be in session pretty much the entire day. So we want to make sure that your team, your office, your leadership knows that you'll be out for that day each month. We do give you some time to check emails during breaks and things like that, but for the most part, you're pretty engaged throughout the entire day. So what is this program really about? Again, I've said many times it's a 9-month cohort. It's developed for people who are interested in increasing their leadership competencies. We're focused on the development of engaged and knowledgeable leaders within the Greater Des Moines community. So we are definitely focused on Greater Des Moines. We don't necessarily have a map that we can say this is Greater Des Moines, but if you've got questions about that, don't hesitate to reach out to me. This is an individualized learning experience, and I think that's really important to mention because the 2024 cohort will not look like the 2023 cohort because a lot of what we do is decided based on who's in the room, who the group is. We'll do some pre-surveys occasionally for some of the different sessions. And we try to make sure that the speakers can adjust and make changes based on the needs that are in the room. So while our probably overarching curriculum will be somewhat reflective of what 2023 learned, digging in might be a little bit different. We hope it is, right? Because we want it to really be about you and the learning you need. Personal development that can be translated into leading purpose-driven work. We talk a lot about this idea of leading with a purpose and an opportunity to develop collaborative relationships across the community. So there's that opportunity to network again. We've been really purposeful about referring to 4Impact leaders as a cohort because we feel that collaborative relationships that will be developed are a result of participation and a key component to the effectiveness of this experience. So now the what, and this is always a big question, the cost. The cost to participate is probably roughly around $2,000 a participant. But thanks to a generous donation and our belief that investing in the nonprofit leadership sector is a priority, tuition is $250 for each participant this year. This will include everything, materials, books, mentoring, program facilitators, meals, which I think the current participants will say are generally pretty good. So that cost covers everything. If that cost is a factor that would prevent you from participating, we do have scholarships. So when I talk about the application process, I'll mention there's just a spot that you would indicate you'd like to be considered for a scholarship, and we just like a statement outlining, why should we consider you for a scholarship. Obviously, not all of our 12 to 16 participants are eligible, so we just need a little bit of information about why you would be asking for a scholarship. The other part of the what is, what are you going to be learning? So each month we have a different topic, an overarching topic that we would like to address. And so this year, those covered things like professional leadership, executive leadership, influence and advocacy, nonprofit strategy, assessment and evaluation, resource development, communication, and dynamic problem solving. Leading leaders is also a little square there, and that is a monthly opportunity for participants to connect with current leaders in the nonprofit sector. So we have 4 professionals who come in and speak to the group. The group rotates through the 4 professionals each month, and they just really talk about their experience as a leader in the nonprofit sector, lessons learned, things they wish they knew maybe when they were starting out. Sometimes they might address how each of these topics really looks on the ground in the way that they lead. So why might you consider joining or applying to join the 4Impact Leaders cohort? You're going to walk away with confidence in your personal leadership abilities, awareness of competencies of a purpose-driven leader, strategies for tactical organizational leadership, and just a deeper relationship with your fellow nonprofit partners and leaders. So this experience is really designed to enhance both the individual and, of course, the entire nonprofit community. And we are just excited to develop a vibrant and healthy nonprofit sector in Des Moines with dedicated leaders who are focused on collaboration and supporting one another. So some important dates when we think about the when. The application is currently available. It's on our website right now and available. Those are due Friday, August 4th at noon. You don't have to wait until 11:50 to submit that application. If you'd like to do it early, you can do it at any time, but 11:50 works too. We will then review the applications. Our advisory committee and some of the current participants will have a committee that we put together to review the applications, and I'll hit just in a second on what we're really looking for. And then we will notify you by September 15th. Whether or not you were selected to be a participant and or an alternative. And then you'll have a little window of time. I didn't exactly put that in there, but you'll have a little window of time to decide, yes, I want to accept this, or maybe something has changed in your career or in your interest and you're not able to accept the offer. We generally, I think last year we gave everybody about a week to confirm that. Go back with your executive director or your board chair and just confirm, yep, I'm interested, I want to do this. And then we'll do a social kickoff on December 5th here at the Community Foundation, just a chance for you to kind of get to know each other before that first day of learning. And then each session is roughly 8:30 to 4 on the fourth Tuesday of every month, with the exception of May in 2024. And I noticed my date there is wrong. It should say January through September 2024. In May, that Tuesday would fall the day after Memorial Day. And so we pulled it up a week, so we would meet on the 21st that month. So what's this application process look like? So there is an online application. It's a form. It asks a variety of different questions. And then there are 5 essay questions that we ask you to address. These are, we ask you to stay under 1,000 words. They're not designed to be a thesis or a dissertation, just short and simple. What makes you interested in this program? And how would you contribute to the group in a purpose-driven leadership way? So the questions are, what are the leadership capacities in which you have strengths and those that you have opportunities for growth? What do you hope to get out of this experience? In what ways have you worked to expand professional collaborations throughout your career within the nonprofit sector? How would you characterize a purpose-driven leader? And what unique contributions will you bring to the cohort? So 5 questions, essay-style questions that you'll just put into the form. And if you run into any technical issues, we'll share my contact information at the end. You can always reach out. We're happy to help. In addition to your application, we also ask that you upload a letter of support from your executive director, board chair, CEO, whoever it is that you would need to kind of just chat about this time away from the office and potentially that $250 tuition commitment. So we do also ask for a letter of support. Again, it doesn't need to be anything lengthy. We just want to know that they know you're applying and that they see that you're a good fit for this program. So how we select participants, again, our hope is that we would have a cohort of 12 to 16 participants, and we give consideration to individual criteria, organizational criteria, and service sector criteria. So we walk through each application and try to just ensure that we have an incredibly diverse cohort. And we mean diverse in all ways: age, race, gender, years in the sector, what size of an organization are you representing? This year, we've got everybody from organizations that have 2 staff to organizations like the United Way that have a lot of staff, right? So size of organization, we try to be, really diverse in that. And then with that comes, different budgets that organizations are working from. And so we've got a rubric that we'll walk through and just really try to ensure that we've got a lot of different voices in the room that can be walking away as nonprofit leaders. So I covered a lot of that really quickly. This is just kind of a recap of everything that I talked about. Again, we're looking for current dedicated employees with 3 to 5 years of experience in the sector, interested in expanding your personal and professional leadership skills, as well as really developing that network of peers, and somebody that can commit to all 9 months of the cohort. We're focused on developing engaged and knowledgeable leaders in the greater Des Moines community. It is a collaborative experience, and the tuition is $250 per person with a scholarship available. You're going to gain confidence, awareness, strategies for leadership, and definitely those relationships. Applications are open. They're due August 4th, and we will be in touch by September 15th with those that have been selected to participate. And then, yeah, just we need support from your current ED, CEO, board chair, and the application itself is a form online that you would fill out. I have a couple quotes from some of our current participants, from Perry and Travis, just talking about how much they've enjoyed the program and the things that they've walked away with. And so I'll leave those up here for a second and just invite anyone who has questions to feel free to unmute and ask. We've got quite a bit of time left, so we'll be here for the next 10 minutes to answer questions. And if we need to go a little longer, we can do that too. So thank you so much for joining us. I look forward to seeing all of you apply soon, and I'll stop talking now.
Thanks, Ellie. I have 2 quick questions. For the letter of application, do you recommend that be of a more like formal cover letter style, or like answering the bullet points specifically? Does it matter which way it's done?
It doesn't, yeah, good question. It doesn't really matter. I am always a big fan of putting a header, so you could list the question and then just answer it. It doesn't need to be on any formal, heading or paper or anything like that.
Cool. And then I would just love to hear from the people that are currently in the program on what has been like the most impactful or the most like beneficial, or what your favorite thing about the program is.
If I can start, Harry, you unmuted. I don't want to steal your thunder, but okay. I think for me, what has been the most impactful is that just in nonprofit as a whole, it tends to attract the same type of people, right? Like we care, we're invested, we're passionate. And so to be in a room full of people who are pretty much like-minded and care about the impact in the community that they're making, the conversations have just been really robust. And I think like we're all friends. Like, and I know that might not happen at every cohort, but I just really love the time spent with the people in that room. People that I never probably would have, in some circumstances crossed paths with. But we are very like-minded and are able to kind of bounce ideas off each other and just instantly kind of clicked. And I think the fact that we are nonprofit professionals had a lot to do with that, is that we already had that in common walking into the room. So if anything, for me, I think in our independent roles, it can be very siloed in this industry, and having a room full of people who get it has been very beneficial.
I will just add that Ellie and her team are incredible, and they, like I say in my quote here, listen to feedback. So I've just kind of noticed as the year has gone on, there has been some really good adjustments. Like I think someone recommended to like just get outside and move your body for a little bit rather than just sitting, so that's been really helpful. And the appropriate breaks, obviously if you have a call or something that you need to participate in, Ellie is extremely understanding and will let you step out. But just having one day to focus on this and hear from incredible leaders in the nonprofit world that I would never meet on my own has been great. And then we end the day with some of the nonprofit leaders, and we just talk about anything and everything. Like, for example, we applied for a grant. We thought it was in the bag. We didn't get it. I just wanted to vent. And so they listened to me vent for 10 minutes and was just like, what can you do next year? What do you think about this? So it's just one example of like, I don't think I would ever have the opportunity to do that with someone from an executive director of Big Brothers Big Sisters, or someone from the Credit Union Foundation. So there are incredible champions who really want us to succeed. And like Jessica said, we've become friends. I was at 8035. We were there supporting Mickey Davis, who's part of the cohort this year. And I ran into like 3 or 4 people, and we just like hugged and high-fived, and it was so fun to see them in like the real world outside of the C3 Center. But anyways, it's been just a really, really fun experience, and I highly recommend that you apply and walk away from this experience with great knowledge. So that's my input.
They both have a lot of really great feedback there too. And I would just echo a lot of what they're saying is being able to be in a room full of other professionals that we may not have daily interaction with in our normal day-to-day of the nonprofit side of things has been really awesome. And Ellie kind of touched on it earlier too, but we've got, really small organizations up to really big organizations. But even seeing opportunities to collaborate with each other when we may not have seen that otherwise, just different areas and topics of the different nonprofits that are represented. But outside of the stuff kind of listed on the screen, another thing that I think is really awesome, and I don't want to spoil too much of it, Ellie, but I just think there's a lot of intentionality about how we as nonprofit professionals learn and communicate and execute our work, from taking a few different assessments and stuff to get to know each other better, and also how that plays into how we lead teams, but how we also show up to work as well. So just wanted to add that part as well.
Thank you. Thank all 3 of you. And thank you, John. You would have thought I planted you here to ask that question. It was perfect. What other questions can we answer?
I just want to clarify the $250 tuition, that is after, or if you get the scholarship, correct?
No, so it's $250 for anyone that's selected to participate. We have we've received a donation here at the Community Foundation, and so we've disseminated that through the 12 to 16 participants. So the scholarship would be if $250 is a barrier, then you would ask for a scholarship, and then your tuition would be $0. Or, it could be potential that you could say, you know what, I can't do $250, but I could pay $100 tuition. Could I get a scholarship to supplement that remainder? So we've got some flexibility there.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah.
And Ellie, I know, in situations there may be an opportunity for the employer through like a professional development budget to come alongside and supplement that too. So if you guys are interested in that, maybe have that conversation at the same time when you're talking to your leaders.
Yep, that's great advice, Travis. And I think we had a couple participants this year that paid half out of their pocket and their employer paid half, and some that the employer paid it all. And yeah.
I have a question. This is Sam Hutchison with Catholic Charities. Is there a substantial time commitment outside of the course, or is everything pretty much done during that one day of the month?
Yeah, that's a great question, Sam. I think I'll let the participants answer that.
Well, I hope I don't answer it wrong, because then
There's no
that
right
would
or wrong.
suck. I haven't been doing any homework, so I think it all happens during that day a month, and it's been great.
The first day we all got sticky notes and basically wrote on the sticky notes and put them on the wall of like what we want to get out of the course, but also like suggestions or requests. And I think 2 people put like no homework, and Allie's like, I'm just letting you know there's no homework. There have been a couple of times when we've had to meet with an advisor, and really, if anything, it's been beneficial. So like to find time in your day to meet with someone who's just going to better you is awesome. And today I took an Enneagram test. It took like 30 minutes. Yeah. So that was like one thing, but it's never like at night after you're done working, go meet with these 3 people. And you know, I think you can kind of do whatever you want. We've started by like doing a happy hour, and then we slowly have been like, it's a long day of learning. I think we just want to go home, but if you want the opportunity to meet, you can.
Yeah, I think it's as much or as little as you kind of want to take from it. To Perry's point, of there's been a couple of those assessments, and sometimes the speakers that'll come in will ask us like, "Hey, what are you interested in learning about? Like, here's a wide variety of topics we can talk about." But you know, I wouldn't say more than 10 to 30 minutes in between classes of either taking one of those assessments that we're going to end up talking about during the class, or you know, there are group activities. So a couple of folks from each, or I think there's like 4 or 5 groups. Elliot, correct me if I'm wrong, but we'll do a welcome activity. So that, you know, we met just the other day for 20 to 30 minutes as a group of 3 to figure out what our welcome activity was going to be for one of the sessions. But outside of assessments or just feedback and then that welcome activity, there hasn't been a ton in between.
Yep. That's what I was hoping you'd all say.
It's also funny because Ellie's had to pivot like probably 10 times during this cohort so far. We will have a presenter come and like welcome the group, and she's supposed to speak for like an hour and only speaks for 15 minutes. And it's like, Ellie's like, okay, let's talk about, and it's so good because it's like, it gives us an opportunity. For example, I work for the Healthy Estate Initiative. You know, like, does anyone want to promote something going on in their own organization? Or can you help us share? Or I'm having this grant and I'm having problems with. So it's a good opportunity to all kind of pick each other's brains. So it's like a positive that they didn't speak as long, but it also is like, how the heck do you like fill that time? And it just works. So kudos to you, Ellie, for figuring that out.
Thanks. All right, well, we are just about at 1 o'clock, actually. Yep, right there. So I'm going to go ahead and if you don't have additional questions, please feel free to hop off. If you do, I'll stick around. If any of our participants can as well, I'll ask them too. But if not, thank you so much. We appreciate that you're here today. We appreciate that you're interested. If I can answer any questions as you go through the application, please feel free to reach out. There's my contact information. It's also on the website. So thank you.